Hey everybody, Matumbo here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are playing some more Historic here on Magic Arena. And welcome back for day 2 of Decktember. Again, if you're not familiar with what Decktember is all about celebrating everybody who enjoys this channel. We want to be playing as many viewer decks as we can. We're going to at least try to do 25 days of Decktember this month. I hope we can get there, but that is the ultimate goal. So here in day 2, again, we have another awesome user-submitted deck. But before we hop into today's deck, as always, just want to remind everybody, if you enjoy the channel and enjoy the video, please go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe. And we will do everything we can to play your deck for Decktember if you join the Discord. And just follow the steps on how to submit a deck list. So yeah, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Let's talk right into the deck. And we are playing Oath of the Hatewatch. So this deck was submitted to us by B.O.P.I.S. He was actually the first person to submit a deck, because we're not necessarily going to be doing these in order, as you can tell, because we're playing the first submitted deck second, and obviously yesterday was not the first submitted deck. So we are going to hop into this Oath of the Hatewatch. So at first glance, this deck looks like a Grixis Superfriends build, where it's going to focus on a control shell. And we're going to get out some different planeswalkers, and we're just going to control the game and win with planeswalkers and probably generating some tokens, if not, doing crazy ultimate shenanigans. So let's really look at this deck as a whole and see. We're just going to look at each one of these cards real quick and see if we can identify what we're trying to do. So we have looks like one copy of Mox Amber. So this is a 0 casting cost artifact, which is going to allow us to tap for mana equal to whatever color of legendary creature or planeswalker we have in play. So it does look like, in combination with Mox Amber, we can play a 3-drop. And it looks like we have quite a few 3-drops. We also have a 4-drop, a couple 5-drops. But this is going to basically give us 1 extra mana on one of these later turns, where it's going to actually help us power out one of these bigger planeswalkers. So that looks to be kind of interesting. We have 2 copies of Mind Stone and 2 copies of Skyclave Relic. So I'm not sure why we're playing 2 copies of each. This does kick, potentially give us more mana later on in the game. But we also have 2 copies of Maze Mind Tome. So we do have 4 mana rocks, which is a good number of mana rocks to have. And then 2 copies of Maze Mind Tome. Maze Mind Tome is always good to smooth out draws, so I'm sure that's why this is in here. It also gives us the ability to draw some extra cards, so completely understand that. A couple copies of Narset, it looks like. This is a 3 mana planeswalker that says our opponents can't draw more than 1 card each turn. And then it gives us the ability to -2 to look at the top 4 cards and put a non-creature, non-land card into our hand. So, all right. We have 1 copy of Tybalt. Tybalt lets us, he's a 3 mana planeswalker. It has a passive ability like Narset does. This one says opponents can't gain life. This one also makes 1/1 red devil creatures that when they die, they actually get to ping. So maybe this is one of our win conditions by, maybe making a couple 1/1s and then swinging in that way. We do have, looks like 2 Anger of the Gods for creature removal, 2 Sweltering Suns for creature removal, probably an even split base between the exile ability and the cycling ability. 1 copy of Dovin, Hand of Control. So this is going to tax our opponent's instant sorceries and artifacts, and then we can -2 actually prevent some damage. So that'll maybe buy us a few turns. And it also looks like a couple of copies of Ashiok. So Ashiok's always a cool planeswalker to have in your deck. Spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause their controller to search their library. And the -1 ability, we get to mill them for 4 and then exile their graveyard. You can actually eat through their deck, hopefully hit some of their win conditions, and then just get, make them not want to play Magic anymore. Ashiok's one of those cards where it's like, it's really fun, but it's actually really well balanced, so it doesn't just overpower you just with this planeswalker. 3 copies of Bedevil. Destroy target artifact, creature, or planeswalker. It's a 3 mana instant. It's a good spot removal spell. really interested to see if this is going to be a card that we're going to want as opposed to something like Murderous Rider. I don't know. One copy of Teferi, Master of Time. So Teferi is always cool, 4 mana. We get to activate him on our turn and on our opponent's turn, which is really a powerful ability in general, being able to activate Planeswalkers basically twice every turn cycle. We get to draw a card, discard a card, phase a creature out, and then take extra turns. And we have some mass removal in the form of Extinction Event, a couple copies of those, a couple copies of Languish for -4/-4. And then it looks like we just have a bunch of singleton cards except for one of our Planeswalkers here. So we have one copy of Jace. So which one does this one do again? This one is scry 1, draw a card, return target creature to its owner's hand, and then -8. You get an emblem with whenever an opponent casts their first spell each turn, counter that spell. So that's actually pretty. So if we get to ultimate this, we're going to be countering the first spell they cast on every turn. So, and then one copy of Ashiok. I'm always a huge fan of this Ashiok. Being able to create 2/3s that whenever they attack or block, we get to exile cards from our opponent's library. We get to bounce a permanent -3, and then they have to exile a card from their hand. And then the ultimate is really good, especially with Ashiok and other cards that actually exile, because then you can cast 3 spells that have been exiled for free, paying their mana cost. They're really, really good. So one copy of Discovery Dispersal. Surveilling is good. This is one of my favorite cards. I usually will always try to play 4 of these in like a Primal Amulet deck. Because at that point, it just really costs one blue or 1 black in order to surveil 2 and draw a card, which is pretty good. And then the dispersal side of it, it's one of those iffy cards. Not sure if this will actually come into play, but we'll definitely see. 2 copies of Liliana. Obviously, Liliana is really powerful. Being able to make zombies, get to draw cards when our zombies die. We can -4 to make each player sacrifice 2 creatures. And then if we ultimate, I mean, we're probably going to win because our opponents are going to have to sack down to 1 of each permanent type. 1 copy of Chandra. Chandra is really powerful as well. The fact that she can't be countered is really good. Being able to put emblems on our opponent that deal damage, so multiple emblems dealing multiple damage, is probably going to be really good. I'm sure this is definitely one of our win conditions, and being able to kill creatures and mass remove creatures is really good. And then our old pal Nicol Bolas God Pharaoh, 7 mana, 7 loyalty. Really, that's a lot of loyalty. The +2, we get to exile cards from the top of our opponent's library until we hit a non-land, and then we can cast that. We can exile cards from their hand. We can deal 7 damage to opponent, creature, an opponent controls, or planeswalker an opponent controls. That's pretty powerful. And then -12, exile each non-land permanent your opponent controls. Yeah, so how many land are we playing here? 27, so that's a lot of land to be playing. But we do have 4 true mana rocks and 1 additional mana rock. So yeah, we're gonna hop into this deck and just see what we can do with it, and hope we have a good outcome. So again, if you're not familiar with Decktember, join the Discord. That is step 1. Then step 2 is head over to the Decktember channel and just follow the formatting, and maybe your deck will be featured in a video. And then we're gonna play 3 games. So we'll see how we do. Then we're gonna talk about it. We'll talk about what changes we're gonna make. Then we're gonna play 4 games, see how our version does, and then we will talk about what we do in the wrap up. So see you guys very, very soon. All right, some Oath of the Hatewatch. We are gonna play some Grixis, Superfriends, whatever you want to call it. I do like the name Oath of the Hatewatch. So, what shall we be doing? We're going first. So this is an awkward hand. I really want to draw a shock land of some kind on our first turn. Okay, we're just going to start off with this Drowned Catacomb. I do feel, obviously, it's weird playing these decks that I haven't built because, I'm just not used to how the synergies work. But this one should be pretty straightforward. We're probably going to want to draw a Another land, a removal spell of some kind. This Skyclave Relic's probably going to do some work here. I don't know why they didn't attack. I wish we had the mana to kick that. That would be pretty sweet. So depending on what they do here... Yeah, I don't know why they missed a point of damage last turn. So we do have mana for Bedevil. We also have mana for Ashiok. Okay, so 2 3/3s here is pretty good. We're hitting for 5 this turn? Or no? Definitely hitting for 5. The question is, how do we do this? The Lean in Vanguard is probably the worst card right now. I mean, these Pride Mates are horrible. But the question is are we going to play Ashiok and the block? So I think we are actually going to Discovery here and then Bedevil something. Interesting. Yeah, that changes everything. That Extinction event is going to be really good next turn. We're going to hit evens. Hopefully nothing crazy happens here. I mean, we're still taking 7, going down to 6. Oof. Oof. This comes into play untapped. Go evensies. I mean, we just lose to Linden. Go down to 4 here. And the Resplendent Angel is potentially lethal. Yeah, this is a tough spot. We need another Extinction event. Oh my god, I can't believe we just drew another. Are you kidding me right now? Oh my god, that was like the most clutch draw I've ever drawn right there. Holy crap. This gains us a life? Oh my gosh, how do we... Oh, we got rid of Aluris? Holy smokes. They don't have a playable in their hand. Another life here. File some more cards. And we do. So they get to make a guy. Can't believe we're still in this game. Can't believe that Extinction event, that draw right there. That was crazy. Our draws. Not really hitting so much. So Maybe attacking wasn't the right move here. Not going to activate Ashiok this turn. Why? Because we forgot to. What do they have here? Nothing really crazy. So it's fine. So you're going to gain some life, okay. We're just essentially, we're pretty much at a stalemate between the tokens. So if we can find... How many cards they have? Creeping, thieving progeny. So if we attack 2... I think we are going to draw a card. Oh, perfect. Really just want to see... We really want to be hitting Lindens. Don't mind hitting Luris's, but obviously Luris is not good with them not having a graveyard. So we're not going to attack this turn on the off chance, because they're going to make a token, and the off chance they draw a Linden. And their other card is a permanent Dawn of Hope. That's kind of annoying. We have to figure out what we're going to be taking. So we could get Vanguard, or Vanguard Pridemate. That could be pretty good. Yeah. Ooh. Wow. Pretty sick. That was a sick first game. So, all right. Good game. All right, we're going to go into game 2. That was pretty crazy. Again, I think it's going to be hard to have a better draw than that Extinction event. We definitely should have lost through the Extinction event. What actually makes it crazier than that is the fact that there are only 2 Extinction events in this whole deck. So, opponent goes first. So, I don't like this hand. We're playing off curve. We're going to... Yeah, just had like a crazy... What do we do? I think we keep this. Just don't think this Mox Amber is going to play, is it? No, let's put back the Nicol Bolas. Putting back Nicol Bolas, I think, is the right play. But if we're just playing against goblins, and yeah, for this Mox Amber to do anything, they're probably just gonna have a turn 3 Mox this. For this Mox Amber to do anything, we're gonna have a turn 3 Planeswalker, which I don't think we're gonna have. Okay, so yep, you're already on track. And do what we do against goblins. pretty much nothing. Yeah, we have to keep land. So we could just lose right here. They have 6 mana. We just have to hope they don't have Muxus, but they always have Muxus. Always. Without fail, every game. So, not the worst. We do get to cast this Sweltering Sun. Muxus gets to hit us. There's no point in playing this Mox Amber. This really is a dead card. Okay, we're about to take a million damage. We're gonna say even, and then we're just gonna lose to all the hasty goblins. We don't have any cheap planeswalkers to play. That's 6 damage. If they have a 1-drop, we lose. Alright, we're at 3. What do we draw? Can we top the deck like we did last game? We cannot. So, I do think this was a good showing in the fact that we can definitely see that we have quite a few cards that cost a lot of mana, and we have maybe a card that just may not belong in this deck with this Mox Amber. So we're gonna play it out. Just gonna say good game. Yep. Do it to it. Chris, why aren't you being a good sport? Why didn't you say good game back to us? Oh, Chris. All right. Next game. All right. Well, we had to take a quick little break, as you could probably see. Earlier, I didn't even notice it. There was my avocado plant back snapped in half because my good pal Jinx decided that it was her new chew toy. We had to bring the plants in because it's cold out. So thought it was hers. So we had to go do a little quick patch on everything, tape it up, get a new dowel rod put in, and some clips to hold it straight. So hopefully it'll regrow. No harm, no foul. You know, she doesn't really know any better. We are going to keep. Ooh. This turned into a little bit of a better hand because we drew the Mind Stone. We get to Interplanar Beacon next turn into Mind Stone. I really wanted to discover this turn, but I think the Mind Stone is actually... This does give us pretty good ramp here. This mana does fuel the Interplanar Beacon better than our actual land that produce color mana. So yeah, I want to go digging for a shock land here. Really want this Liliana. Let me read Jace. Yeah, we're gonna keep Liliana. We really don't know what they're playing. All we've seen so far is this vampire. So we don't know how much removal they have in their hand. I'm assuming they have at least one Murderous Rider, which we're going to try to draw out with the Jace here. We do get to gain a life back. We do get to net a card. So yeah, I do think the way that okay. We'll keep that land. So it does look like they... Oh. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just have something else. Oh, Blood Chief's Thirst. Okay. Alright, well. Now we get to actually gain some life back. These interplanar beacons are going to play a huge part right now. We're going to start making some zombies. I have a feeling that this Liliana is going to eat the dust. And that's probably in the same fashion with Blood Chief's Thirst. But that's why we wanted to keep hoping to draw land off the Jace. So actually everything's come together in a sense. Okay. That's perfect. Oh, they just don't. They don't care about Liliana. They must have a removal spell. Must have a removal spell. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and play Ashiok. Gain a couple more life, go up to 20. I think this might be where they're considering their life choices and whether or not to continue. This might be where we get roped. Griff, what are you doing? We need you here in the present. Alright. Let's see if we can hit some of these removal spells out of your deck. Ashiok's gonna get eliminated? Okay. So, one thing about this is the eliminate is also going to get moved. We got rid of one Murderous Rider. Is that the food card that we saw? Yep, Foreboding Fruit. Gain a couple more life, go up to 22 now. Yeah, I think... What's better here? I think the Bedevil is just better. They have one creature in play. Yeah, that was... I don't know what our opponent was playing, but yeah, that worked out really well. Really well. So, great record for our for the actual deck submitted as is, 2-1. So let's talk about it and let's see what we decide to build. All right, so as you saw, we actually went 2-1 with this deck, which is really great for I feel like a deck that has a lot of ones and two ofs. Again, you know, when you play a deck like that, it's going to feel almost like a singleton deck sometimes, and it's going to be harder to get to those cards that you're going to want to, you know, those cards you're going to want to hit. So, you know, obviously that's part of the magic and part of how the card building or the deck building aspect of the deck works, or of the game works, because, you know, the game allows you to have 4 of a card in your deck. That's obviously not counting a basic land. So the more copies of a card you have in your deck, the more consistently you're going to hit those cards. So yeah, some of these are great, and as you saw in that first game against the mono white deck, it is going to happen where we get super lucky and then draw the only 2 cards of that card in that deck. In that example, Extinction Event, we drew, I think, both of them in a row, and that's the only reason we won the game, is because probability happened, numbers happened, math happened, whatever you want to call it, and we got super lucky. And that'll probably never happen again. But let's really just take a look at some cards that I feel like really throw the deck off a little bit, but I understand the thought process behind them. So the first card, obviously, being the first card in this list, and that's going to be Mox Amber. So Mox Amber is a little awkward because of the fact it doesn't really do anything until a minimum of turn 4. Typically, when you're going to want to play Moxes, you're going to want them to have more of a impact on the game earlier in the game than later in the game. Yes, the difference between this, hitting a 5 mana Planeswalker on turn 4 or turn 3, turn 4 is going to be, could be a lot better, obviously, than hitting it on turn 5. But basically, this is not going to make any mana until we have at least a 3 mana Planeswalker out. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 3 mana Planeswalkers. So ideally, what we would be able to do is, turn 1, play land, turn 2, play a Mind Stone, turn 3, we have access to 4 mana. We can play either Teferi or a Narset. And then on the following turn, we could play another land, Mox Amber. We'd actually have access to the 5 mana Planeswalker or 6 mana Planeswalker. And again, that is kind of big, but playing one of these, the odds that's going to happen are going to be low. The probability is going to be low. The consistency at which it happens is going to be really low. So it's really not worth. I don't feel like it's worth. Now, the other card I think that we need to have 4 of in this deck, which would actually make the curve out be a little bit better, is going to be 4 Mind Stones. So I think that we should just replace the Mind Stones the Maze Mind Tomes for the Mind Stones. While I love Maze Mind Tome, I just really feel like we need to be just getting our mana in place a lot more quickly, a lot more efficiently, so we can start getting to these top end cards. Or not better, but more quickly. So to Bolt, even though we played against this probably the deck that this is going to be best against, that mono white life gain deck, I don't think having this one of is actually going to really do much against our opponents. Again, I do understand why it's in here, because when you submitted this deck, you might have been playing a lot of decks, or you might have been seeing a lot of cards that just do a bunch of life. Maybe you're playing against like a bunch of explore decks with the wild growth walkers, anything like that. While this is good against them, again, ultimately just having one of is going to bring the consistency level down, and we're not going to hit it. The same goes for Dovin. While Dovin actually has a little bit of a good passive in regards to it's going to tax our opponents, their artifacts, their instances, and their sorceries by an extra 1 mana. Again, the fact that we only have one of these in our deck is going to make it stumble. We're not really going to, we necessarily may not always want to have this in our hand, and the times that we do have it in our hand, it might not seem good. This is going to be better, obviously, against a control deck. Sometimes it's going to save you against an aggro deck. If you can land this, maybe it'll prevent a couple of attacks, but ultimately, again, it's not going to be good as a one-up. The same could go for Teferi. But again, Teferi is not necessarily something that you want to be playing 4 of, especially in in this type of Super Friends deck. And I know I'm kind of like hopping around. The Skyclave Relic, while I do like this card a lot, I'm not sure that this is the right deck for it. If we're going to be relying on Mind Stones, I think we have to decide which one we want to rely on first. So obviously, getting to 4 mana, I think, with this deck is going to be more important than getting to 5 mana, because 4 mana is going to be where most of our removal, Extinction Event, and languishes. So being able to turn to Mind Stone does give us the potential to do one of these free, whereas opposed to Skyclave Relic does enable something like a turn 4 Ashiok or a Jace. I just think it's better to make sure that we're not dying, as opposed to just maybe dropping something that they just did. So same goes for Discovery. Discovery is a great card. This is probably my favorite of the split cards. However, having one of these is not great. But again, I know you're looking for more ways to draw cards, and I just think that we need to play not this card and look at just adding some other. So let's hop into what we're going to decide to build. I'll be back as soon as I build it, and we will look it over. And I'm going to try to, I'm going to try not to mangle your deck, and just completely turn it into like a Grixis control shell. So we're going to We're going to try to leave it as close to this as possible, but with making some improvements. We'll see in a few minutes. All right, so Oath of the Hatewatch version 2.0. This is what we have. So a couple things you're going to notice immediately is we are really not playing any one-ofs except for, yes, we are playing some one-ofs, but we're not playing as many one-ofs, and I feel like we are playing a better assortment of cards. And again, this is my opinion. This may not be your opinion, but this is how I would build this deck had I had access to these cards if I were B.O.P.I.S who submitted this deck. So let's talk about some of the changes. Obviously, we did go up to 4 Mind Stones. These are great. These are going to help our mana acceleration. We're going to be able to draw cards later on with this. We kept the Narsets, the Angers, and the Sweltering Sun number, as well as the Ashiok's and the Bedevils. All of these are the same. So I think Narset's great as a 2 of. I did consider bumping this up to 3, but I think with the way that I want this deck to function is I want Narset to essentially draw us, at least 1 card. If it draws us 2, great, but I would prefer this to be a target to keep us alive so we can get some of our top end out a little bit sooner. Now, Anger and Sweltering Suns, I really thought about going 4 of 1 over the other, but I couldn't decide which one I wanted because obviously the cycling aspect of this is promising to be able to draw this again, or cycle this away against the deck that potentially we would not want to cast this against. And then the same goes for Anger. Anger is great against the Graveyard Recursion deck, risk decks, stuff like that. So I wasn't really sure as to which one, and so I said, you know what, the reason that B.O.P.I.S probably did this was because of the same reason, where they wanted a situational type card. These are almost the same card, so we're gonna leave 2 of each in here and just see how it rolls. 2 of Ashiok, again, I feel like is an okay number to play. Not want to play too many more of these. These are going to be great, again, for our Graveyard Recursion spells, and then maybe our opponents are going to be playing some searching, and this just kind of gets them. A lot of people forget that this prevents our opponents from searching. And then I think 3 Bedevils is great. We do want targeted removal, and this hits not only creatures, but also artifacts. And so we did decide to go up 1 Extinction Event. I do feel like Extinction Event is a great card. I feel like, obviously, after seeing it work really well in Game 1 of our, the first Game 1, not of our Game 1 that we're about to play, but this is super important. I feel like we just need more removal like that. Kept the number of languishes the same. Almost decided to add another one, but you know what? Again, trying to keep this as close to the original shell as possible, with but also make some modifications too. Now, one of the obvious changes you're going to see here is we're going to be playing a couple of Karn, Scion of Urza. So again, we are focusing on ramping up to 4 mana on turn 3. And Karn can actually be just a huge card advantage engine. Sometimes our opponents can't deal with this. And not only does Karn immediately get you a card, sometimes you just hit 2 bombs and it's hard for them to decide which bomb to give you. And then they can't get rid of Karn, and then you get that other bomb back into your hand as well. And then it just becomes a target, because if they can't get rid of this Karn, you're going to be potentially drawing so many good cards out of your deck. Sometimes all you need for them is to give you a land. Sometimes you're stuck on land and they think they're punishing you by giving you a land, when in reality, they're actually rewarding you by giving you that land. So I do think, again, since we are using Mind Stone, we are going to want to play these 2 cards. Still 1 of Jace. We did add 1 Hour of Devastation. So this is a removal spell, mass removal, 5 mana, 5 damage to each creature and each non-bolus planeswalker. So yeah, so this is going to hit our planeswalkers, but again, this is going to be a situational card. We're going to try 1 of. The reason for this is because, as you can see, we're going to play 4 Nicol Bolas Dragon Gods. This is a card that I love. It's probably one of my all-time favorite planeswalkers, if not my favorite planeswalker. It's really hard for me to decide. But Bolas does all the things. He lets you win the game if you can ultimate it. And then again, if we have this in play, we can Hour of Devastation, hit everything except for Bolas, and then Bolas is just going to take over the game from there. Still playing 1 Ashiok, still 2 Liliana, still 2 of big ol' Nicol Bolas, and 1 Chandra. So the only thing that we did to the land is we did reduce by 1 land. This was a 27 land deck. We're going down to 23. I'm sorry, not 23, 26. We just cut 1 Sulfur Fall. I think having 26 land alongside 4 Mind Stones is going to be fine. Maybe a little overkill. We might have had enough room to cut a couple more. But again, the interplanar beacons are really important with a deck that has a lot of planeswalkers. We're going to be wanting be getting that life back. So again, so this is how I'm going to build the deck. And again, didn't want to just go straight Grixis control Nicol Bolas type deck. Wanted to give you my take on Oath of the Hatewatch, and let's see if you know, the fact that we are recruiting some new friends into our Hatewatch guild, let's see if they can get the job done as well. So hop into the gameplay, and we'll see you at the wrap up. All right. Oh, I'm excited. This deck looks like a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun playing B.O.P.I.'s version of this. So I'm just hoping that it's going to continue here. We get to go first. We don't have any 2-drops. But we do have a 3-drop. And we don't have to shock at all. I think this is going to be a hand. We would like some kind of 4-mana spell. And I do think it's worth noting that we did not go with any kind of thought seizes or anything like this, because again, I didn't want this to specifically be a Grixis build. I wanted this just to be a fun. All right, so we're gonna throw this out. I think Jace is probably the weakest of our planeswalkers. So yeah, seeing them on a Grixis build. All right, what do we get rid of? Yeah, I think it's gonna be Karn. I think it's gonna be Karn. Oh, Croxa, huh? Oh, Croxa. Wouldn't be surprised. We're not playing any basics. So that is unfortunate. Got us real good there. They have another one. So we're gonna get rid of Nicol Bolas. We're gonna play this land. I know they have to have a removal in their hand. They don't have enough to bring back a Croxa. It's fine. So we're going to take 3. This is an interesting play. Do we bounce? No, we got rid of a Nicol Bolas. So do we bounce this, or do we actually cast this, put this down to 1, then 2, then Croxa hits? Yeah, I think we're going to do that. This is the one time that it is a little weak. We're going to see a Croxa. We're going to lose 3. Oh. Interesting. Very confused by that. I think maybe they thought they had an extra mana for the Croxa. Not gonna attack. If they have another one, it kind of gets us. All right. Well, we've seen. Is that a flash pirate? Oh no, I thought that was. Yep. Getting back into the graveyard. Oh, that was a great draw. Oh, I feel like the way we drew cards, the order we drew them was a little questionable, but it ended up working out. Yeah, it was a little unfortunate that we actually had to cast our Hour of Devastation, but again, you know, you need to play to your outs, and giving you the, you know, the best opportunity to win is super important. So that's what we did. That was a sweet game. All right, we're going to game 2. We're going to Hydrate. It's not an official Hydrate, but hydrating is always an official thing you should be doing. And I don't even know what I mean by that. Yeah. Move the plant up there on the mantle. Alright, so we're playing a Lurrus deck. We're going to keep this a little slow. Little slow. Oh. Okay. The thing about the Lurrus decks is a lot of the time their creatures are odd. Okay, we're going to take a look here. This immediately becomes a target because this ruins their entire deck. They might go, hopefully, 1-drop, 1-drop. 1-drop, 1-drop just gets them. Okay. This is when a creature dies, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll return where you slumber.
I'm gonna say odd. Okay. I'm not gonna let that thing get out of hand right now. They drew 3 of that, okay. Alright, well. Let's hit some land here. Oh, no land. Oh. Yeah, that language there is pretty good. So you know they have a God's will. I'd rather them I think we're just going to use this languish here. Actually play this Mind Stone first. Karametra's Blessing doesn't really do anything. Yeah. Ooh. That was going to be tough for them. That is how you dismantle a Lurrus deck. Awesome. Awesome game. Good game, my friend. Well, that was fun. Oh, man. I love beating decks like that. He did draw like pretty much all of his concealed core. Is that right? Ironhead, 1230. Alright, so this is a Yorion deck. Can't actually cast Anger. I get to get down to turn 4 Nicol Bolas. Get your forest. This is probably a Genesis Ultimatum deck. Definitely appears that. We actually need to draw another land. I don't think we can play Nicol Bolas with 2 interplanar beacons. Because we can't filter one of them into the other one. Oh no, but we can... Oh no, we still can. What am I doing? What am I thinking? Oh, you just draw 3 growth spirals? Yeah. Because that seems fair. You're just going to Genesis Ultimatum us next turn? Is that literally going to be your last card there? Let's see it. Do it to it. I guess that's not horrible, right? Oh, please put a land into play. Please show us that. Please show us that card's a land. Oh, yes. Yes. Bolas is good, but they have so many draws.
Suffer for your cause.
They have so many draws. That is not one. I mean, I guess we're just gonna get down to Liliana. I think Liliana's a little bit better if we ult.
My army will envelop you. Smelly, but effective.
I'd rather draw cards than make more zombies.
Good help is easy to find in war.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna have all of the friends in play. All of the friends are coming to visit. Oh yeah, they are. Oh yeah, they are. Explores a redraw. Oh my.
I come bearing the wisdom of the ancients.
Time to go.
Like literally the one card you could have drawn there. Literally the one card you could draw. Could have been Devil. Or Nicol Bolas. So, I mean, we're at 30. We do get to get down another Nicol Bolas, hopefully next turn. Explore into. And perfect. Bolt. What are you going to bolt? Bolt Karn?
Consider this a warning.
Definitely going to go.
Time has come.
We're going to kill our friend Ugin. Oh, you're at 3? We're gonna bolt Ugin. Bolting Ugin is way better than minus it. Oh, we got rid of some really great cards there. We're gonna pass the turn. Pretty good. Again, our opponent is drawing like a champ. I'd like to see a big nickel bolus. Oh, perfect.
My intellect is without limit.
Oh, we just got a little an error.
Greetings, knights.
Oh, how many cards we got left?
Your demise.
Yep. I mean, Genesis Ultimatum seems pretty good. We didn't really hit with it, but... Again, Storm's Wrath is pretty good. Alright, how many cards you get? 3. Might as well. So getting to +2 nickel boluses is really good. Yeah.
In exchange for
Oh, I can't believe we drew Ugin, but we drew out of it, and yeah, that was quite the show. All right, well, as much as I don't want it to be, we have to have a final boss. I don't want it to be true. We're gonna keep. Again, we don't have a 2-drop, but we do have a 3, 4, 5, 6. Show them that Watery Grave into Steam Vent. And they mulligan, so what are they playing? Okay. Thoughtseize.deck. I wouldn't be surprised if Karn goes here. I feel like Karn is actually the best card in our hand. Okay. What are they protecting? Yeah, so their mulligan paired up really well with our hand. All right, well, will we get there? I think we are going to. They have like Disdainful Stroke. Ah, that's unfortunate. I'm just gonna go for it.
This isn't your average zombie. Putrid, but effective.
So,
Rise and shine. Those who cannot perceive beyond the veil meditate and prepare.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna play a bunch of stuff. And, yeah. I don't know if I would have conceded there if I was them. They could have potentially still gotten rid of our Nicol Bolas, but yeah, them having that Jawari counter was pretty bad. But then I felt like at that point there's just no way they're going to be drawing that many duplicates, because they did draw, you know, multiple thoughts. They didn't cast multiple thought seizes, but they did see multiple thought seizes. I just felt like they would not have had a second one of these. Some of the control decks I've been seeing only have one. And yeah. So I just felt like we had to slam it. And then them having to dig for their 5th land by cycling that was really good. So just figure, you know what? Let's throw out all of these Planeswalkers and deal with it. And we actually got lucky and hit a Bolas for next turn. And yeah, that's going to be the game right there. Let's go into the wrap up and have a few words. All right, well, welcome back to the wrap up, everybody. I had a blast playing this deck. This deck is super sweet. So we went 4-0 in our games, and then we went 2-1 in the original version. So overall, this deck went 6-1. Really powerful. The Planeswalker package in this deck is really powerful, plus a ton of removal. It's just really hard to deal with. And I'm really real thankful that we actually got to feature this deck. This deck is sweet. I saw it and I was like, okay, I'm not really too sure, you know, what we're going to be doing with a lot of these 1-ofs and 2-ofs. But overall, I mean, it gives you this feeling that you have like this Batman-esque utility belt just sitting there ready for you to just deal with anything that gets thrown your way. And that's how I felt like we were playing. You know, if you really look at this, the only 4-ofs that we decided to add to this deck were 4 Mind Stones and 4 Nicol Bolas Dragon God. Everything else is a 1 or a 2-of. Yeah, there are some 3s, but there's just more 2-ofs than anything else. And it's just crazy just thinking about that. Just the way that you can handle so many different situations. It's amazing. And I really feel like Magic has been changing in a sense in that way ever since Ikoria came out with the I think it was Ikoria, right? With the introduction of the companions. You know, because I've always played, not always, but more often than not, I would typically play 61 cards in a constructed deck. It's just something that I did because the math on 61, you know, wanting to draw a card is really not that much different than when you're playing 60. Yeah, obviously the math does, you know, prove you know, but it's the percentage is just so much lower. It doesn't make a difference. And then, you know, now you have this card, and we're not playing it, but we have Yorion, which says, okay, play 80 cards. And then you have these Yorion decks that are they just seem so consistent in what they're trying to do. And, you know, I would get flack sometimes for playing 61. And I know even if you go back and look at some of the comments from some of our most recent videos where we actually played 61 cards, people are like, why are you playing 61 cards? And then I'm like, well, why are you playing Yorion? You know, it's just like, it's the same thing. And Magic has just really changed. You just have all of these options to, and I know I'm going on a rant here, but I feel like it's okay now to play just a lot of 1s and 2-ofs, just because there's just so many different great options. As long as you stick to a theme, you're going to have really good luck. And I really feel like this deck really outperformed where it should have been. I expected to get at least 2 wins with this. I was hoping for 3, and I'm really glad that we got 4. So you guys saw some pretty crazy games, I feel like, both in the original version and this version. And being able to just see how this deck can just overpower your opponent, especially even when you're getting discarded every turn. They're throwing out constant threats, and you're just dealing with everything. You just, you know, even with our very first game, top decking the second Extinction event when we only had 2 in the deck at the time was really good. So again, looking at the original deck, this is the original deck. Obviously, we cut out Mox Amber. I just didn't feel like it belonged in the deck. The Maze Mind Tomes, even though I love the card, I don't felt like it belonged. cutting down, getting rid of the Skyclave relics and really converting them into Mind Stones, I felt like was the right play, because again, I'd rather focus on getting to 4 instead of getting to the later spells, essentially just one additional turn. You know, we could have easily done some different things. This could have easily been converted into a Nicol Bolas, you know, with the flying 4/4, just a complete Grixis control shell. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted this to be true to what B.O.P.I.S was trying to do in his original deck, and that is to play a bunch of Planeswalkers, have this Oath of the Gatewatch slash Hatewatch theme going. So I didn't want to put in Thought Seizes or other cards like that, you know, Thought Seize and Thought Erasure and all those cards that just don't make Magic fun. I wanted to play Planeswalkers because Planeswalkers are fun when you get to just activate so many different things every turn. And it's fun to basically just wipe the board and then keep activating Planeswalkers. And then sometimes your opponent draws an Ugin and wipes your whole board, and then you deal with Ugin, and then, you know, they thought they had it, but then they didn't. So yeah, this deck can come at you from a lot of different ways. And yeah, so Super Friends, Grixis, I like them both, and I like them both together. So Grixis Super Friends, Oath of the Hatewatch, that's what we're forever going to call this, I feel like now. And yeah, Nicol Bolas is super powerful. Ashiok is super powerful. Liliana, Chandra, Karn, Narset, Jace, all of the friends making an appearance in all the different games was actually pretty cool to see. And being pretty consistent with it. And again, Interplanar Beacon is an MVP in a deck like this, gaining all of the life, you know, when we have to play against aggro decks like that. So yeah, A+ on this one. Again, if you want to be considered for Decktember and you want to have your deck be built, please join the Discord. Head over to the Decktember channel and follow the instructions on how to submit your deck. It's going to be at the very top. You might have to scroll up to get the formatting. And then again, if you enjoy the channel and the video, please hit that subscribe button, the like button, the bell icon to be notified when we go live. Check out all the cool links down in the description below, whether it is the Discord link, which you're going to need to join anyway to be a member, to be considered for Decktember, the Patreon link, or the Twitch link, because we have been streaming a lot more lately. So check all those out. Again, hope you enjoyed the video. We will keep coming back for more Decktember. And let me know in the comments down below what you think of Decktember. That being said, everybody, please stay safe. We will see you next time. Remember, this channel would not exist without such amazing viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for interacting with the channel and helping grow the community. And a very big special thank you to the Patreons listed here for supporting the channel.